From Arkansas' streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on THV 11 Plus. Hope you had a great weekend. Really good weekend if you're Brian Hornet and your Robinson Senator, state champions for them. Very excited.
Yay, congrats.
And, I think Cross County won a state championship. And
it didn't rain on Friday
No,
night.
it was good. And Shiloh scored 70 points. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was 70 to 50 against Greenwood.
It was no one was playing defense.
It's a high scoring game for both
crazy.
sides.
Well, congratulations to all those state title teams, and here we go, another week.
Yeah, we were following along. We had it on our TV and the radio, and my husband was listening to the games. It was good.
It was
good football this weekend.
A-State beat Little Rock Saturday night.
Yeah, here in Little Rock.
I wanted to go, but it was late.
Yeah.
And tip off was 8:45.
So here in Little Rock, we had the Sugar Bears and UALR.
Yep.
We had ASU and UALR, and then we had the Razorbacks playing.
They did. I did go to that one.
All on Saturday. Lots of in-state basketball.
Steve, good time. Merry Christmas.
Good stuff.
Steve and I went Saturday. It was good.
How do you think of the team? What do you
They look
think?
They look good.
Pretty good.
You said
Now,
the Charles?
Fresno State, granted, let's not, go crazy because it was Fresno State.
Right.
They beat Louisville middle of the week last week, top 10 team. I think Louisville was 6th. Arkansas beats them in Fayetteville, really handled them pretty well. And then the second half on Saturday at Verizon, they came out and just dominated. They couldn't miss in the second half. So
Lots of basketball excitement.
Coach Cal's got it going on. They got a big week ahead. I think they play Texas Tech on Saturday.
Okay.
So that's another top 10 team.
Coach Cal getting a lot of recognition over the weekend for
God.
comments. Yes, I saw that. He's so funny.
Go check that out if you haven't heard that one.
About
It's pretty
players
good.
and how old they are, and he's a funny guy. It seems like the press conferences are never dull.
We got guys with beards playing college basketball, waving to their kids in the stands.
You do a pretty good impression.
With ex-wives.
He's like Italian. Coach Cal's.
He just says it like it is,
Calamari,
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting if you go to a press conference.
You never know what you're going to get.
All right, well, let's talk about traffic this morning. We don't have any issues on our roads right now. The volume obviously increasing now that we're in the 7 o'clock hour to 7:02. You can see here at the North Terminal Interchange, plenty of vehicles there on Interstate 30 around Sykes Boulevard, making their way towards downtown Little Rock and the Arkansas River Bridge. But really no slowdowns right there just as of yet. But we do have our slowdowns on 30 eastbound around Alexander. As you can see, a little bit of yellow and red in that area. But our drive times into downtown Little Rock, no issues from Conway, Benton, Cabot into downtown. And it's looking pretty good. Tracy, we don't have any problems on our roadways. And how's weather?
Well, weather's pretty good this morning. Now it's a little chilly out there. We've got a bit of a northerly breeze, and the good news is all of that cloud cover that's associated with precipitation, again frozen or liquid, moving on. And so that is good news. And we are starting to see a little bit of a break in the clouds today, and we will see a little bit more sunshine today as well. And that'll make things feel a little bit warmer. But right now we're kind of going back and forth between more of a clear sky, and then we'll bring back some clouds. But that northerly breeze is sustained winds around 15 miles per hour, and we've got a few areas where we're seeing some gusty winds here and there. Those gusty winds are certainly making a big difference on our wind chill. It is 36 degrees in the capital city. So let's take, for example, Hot Springs, 39. As we are looking at those winds, Little Rock's having some windy conditions, so that's dropping our wind chill to 27, whereas Hot Springs, little to no wind, 39. So yeah, that's how much of a difference that can make there. Highs today, 47 in the capital city. We are going to see a bit more sunshine off to the west and central Arkansas, and things will be a little bit cooler off to the east.
Developing news this morning, a manhunt is currently underway in Louisiana. One of 3 escaped inmates still on the run after breaking out of a jail in St. Landry Parish.
Police say the trio broke through a crumbling wall, then used bed sheets to lower themselves to the ground and get away last Wednesday. 2 have since been found. 24-year-old Jonathan Javon Joseph was captured Friday.
Meanwhile, police say a tip led them to Joseph Allen Harrington, who was facing multiple felony charges, including home invasion. Investigators say he took his own life inside a home where he had been hiding.
The search now centers on the third escapee, 24-year-old Keith Eli, jailed on a charge of attempted second-degree murder. Officials, though, are disagreeing on how it happened.
This jail is 45 years old. We're overcrowded, and it needs a lot of maintenance.
Our jail is safe, is sturdy, Engineers gave us a clean bill of health on it whenever they came and inspected last year.
This is the second major jailbreak in Louisiana this year, including a New Orleans escape in May when 10 inmates cut through a wall using hair trimmers. All of them, though, have since been caught.
As of this morning, police are still searching for Keith Eli.
Also developing, leading Democrats in Washington are pushing to release classified video of a deadly U.S. military strike on a boat carrying 11 people in the Caribbean back in September. A second strike later that same day killed 2 survivors and remains under intense review. CBS correspondent Bradley Blackburn has more.
As Democrats call for the video's release, debate is growing over the second strike that killed 2 survivors on a suspected drug boat off Venezuela's coast in early September.
It seems pretty clear they don't want to release this video because they don't want people to see it, because it's very, very difficult to justify.
On CBS's Face the Nation, Representative Jim Himes, the House Intelligence Committee's top Democrat, said it appears the survivors no longer posed a threat before the follow-up strike.
I think it's really important that people see what it looks like when the full force of the United States military is turned on 2 guys who are clinging to a piece of wood and about to go under.
Last week, a bipartisan group of lawmakers received private briefings from Joint Chiefs of Staff Chair General Dan Kane and Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley, who led the mission.
It was entirely appropriate to strike the boat again to make sure that its cargo was destroyed. It is in no way violation of the law of war.
Over the weekend, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defended the Trump administration's efforts to go after so-called narco-terrorists and said the second strike on September 2nd was justified.
There was a link-up point of another potential boat. Drugs were still there. They were actively interacting with them. Had to take that read. I said, Roger. Sounds good.
Since then, the U.S. has conducted more than 20 strikes on suspected drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing over 80 people. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Defense Secretary Hegseth is not saying whether video of the second strike will be released, but says a review is underway.
Here in Little Rock, a group with flags bearing Nazi symbolism was seen marching on the grounds of the Arkansas State Capitol on Saturday. Little Rock police say about 20 people identified as the Blood Tribe then loaded into a U-Haul and left the area headed toward Interstate 440. Officers stopped that truck after reports the group was armed, identifying the driver as a 36-year-old man from Indiana and citing him. Police released the group but stayed on scene to make sure there was no ongoing threat. Now, Little Rock police did release this statement saying, in part, it protects lawful assembly but condemns hate-based ideology. A state law passed earlier this year caught residents off guard by loosening regulations on billboards and signs in unincorporated areas outside city limits. These sudden changes sparked an outcry in Ferndale, leading to the removal of 2 billboards and prompting County Judge Barry Hyde to impose a 6-month moratorium on new developments, though large signs already under construction were allowed to continue. During the pause, county leaders hammered out an agreement governing sign displays in unincorporated zones.
Took a little while, but we've stuck with it until we've gotten the job done. We're happy to move forward, and we wish them well, and hope the community is happy now that we've been able to remove these distractions.
The fact is they're gone now, and we're happy.
Officials say one other billboard over a storage facility will remain because it is on private property.
A funding crunch is still slowing the work of Arkansas's watchdog for people with disabilities. Disability Rights Arkansas says they're still waiting on major federal dollars, even though the government reopened last month. The group's advocates and attorneys run 9 programs serving people of all ages and mental and physical disabilities. Their budget is roughly $2 million, but the delays forced them to furlough workers and pause key programs. Those grants, though, must eventually be paid out because Congress has already approved them. We reached out to U.S. Senator John Bozeman's office for an update. A spokesman tells us, quote, our office stays in regular contact with DRA to provide support and inquire with the relevant departments and agencies on its behalf. AT&T customers have one more week, a little over a week left, to claim part of a $177 million settlement tied to 2 major data breaches in 2024. The incidents exposed personal information, including names, addresses, phone numbers, birthdays, even social security numbers on the dark web. If you were an AT&T customer affected in the March 30 or July 12th breaches, you can file a claim by December 18. Eligible customers could receive up to $7,500 depending on losses and documentation. All claims will go through the Kroll Settlement Administration website. Now let's check in with Ashley King and look at the roads at this hour.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, things are looking good so far. We don't have a lot of volume. Actually, the volume is really starting to pick up, but not as heavy in some areas where we typically see. But it is still early, just 7:10, so I'm sure between now and the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to see it get even busier on our roadways. But we have the typical slowdowns that are starting to happen on 30 eastbound. We're looking right now at the Interstate 30 around the Alexander exit, which is where we see the most slowdowns in the morning. You can see right now we have a lot of volume on our roadways, and this is what it looks like across the map right now with our live traffic map. But getting a closer look at the slowdown there around Alexander and on Interstate 30, you can see it moving at 45 miles per hour just before you get to Alexander. And in front of the Bass Pro Shop, it looks like it's slowing down a little bit too before you get to the 430 interchange. Drive time still looking good, increasing just a little bit if you're coming in to downtown Little Rock from Conway and Benton, Cabot as well, 20 minutes into downtown. Otherwise, things are looking okay. We don't have any accidents to talk about. It's just a cold morning, right, Tracy?
Yeah, it is a little chilly out there. We are seeing those temperatures in the mid upper 30s, but with that wind chill's really kind of biting through. But let's talk afternoon temperatures because we are going to see some changes headed our way. Highs today, 47. We're going to get a bit more sunshine off to the west and moving into central Arkansas. Right now, we've mainly got overcast skies, but I promise that sunshine is coming and those winds will settle down a little bit later. But the afternoons ahead, they're going to bump up again above average. We're going to see for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday some temperatures again a little bit warm there as we're seeing possibly some 60s, but we do have a frontal boundary pushing in by the weekend, and those highs will be in the 30s and maybe low 40s before we start to average out again early next week. Now those lows, that's where you're really going to feel those impacts for sure. Average is right around 35, and we're going to bump up just like we are in those mornings again. Mornings aren't going to be too bad, but then by this weekend, if you've got something early morning, you need to make sure you bundle up from head to toe because we're going to wake up in the 20s, and again with that wind chill, probably going to feel closer to the teens. Things will start to level out a little bit as we're heading through the next part of the week, but yeah, we are starting to see a little roller coaster here with the temperatures. We'll talk more about that extended outlook coming up.